Gentlemen, welcome to Anything is Possible, the sports betting show starring
Anything's possible.
Dave, Chris, and Adam. There's weird things going on in the world, and one of those weird things that I have to apologize for is I went 3 for 3 this weekend, and I know that's no good for anyone because it's an always fade.
Yeah,
but gosh,
you talked to the fade kings, but you needed it. You needed
sometimes I needed the account balance in the sports book to go up so that I could continue to lose for you guys. So it was almost like a little reset that I needed. So it was perfect.
Yep.
Stole $200 from ESPN Bet. Withdrew my money immediately after some bonus bets, and that was great. So
I love that.
Dave did not do so well this weekend.
No.
Adam did even worse, I guess.
I did.
You could consider it.
I did. I went 0 for 0. Well,
which is almost that's 100%, so that's not bad.
I mean, it was a lock.
It was I'm playing the long play. It's the long play.
Exactly.
We got a water bet coming your way. We got some NFL playoffs coming your way. Dave, hit us up with a recap, and we'll jump into it here.
All right. So last week, Adam 0 for 0, as we just talked about. So he's still sitting at.
But still, lock that bet in. Lock that bet in for this week. It's happening. Now it's live.
You want me to remind the people what it is?
I mean, I can remind the people as well, but go ahead. You're doing the recap. Right. Do it for me. Let the people know.
So if you bet it last weekend, it didn't happen, but Liverpool versus, is that Bournemouth? Is that how you pronounce that?
That's correct.
That's what I thought. So Liverpool money line bet, a Nunez goal, and a McAllister assist. Those are the 3 bets that you had on that Liverpool-Bournemouth game that didn't happen last week, but it is happening this week.
Yep.
So lock those in. As a reminder, Adam is 7 for 11 this year, putting him at a 63.6% success rate on his bets. Chris, we'll start with your, like you said, you had a great week last week. You went 3-0. Your first bet was the water bet of Texans and Browns, in which you took Texans plus 2.5. That hit.
Wow, did it hit.
Boy, did it hit.
It hit, and that's the water bet that I lost, so we'll get to mine in a second. But you hit it, I didn't. That's the way it goes. Rams at Lions, you took Lions money line, and that hit. And then Bucks at Eagles, you took money line, and Bucks won that game. So that helped your percentages a little bit. You are now 9 for 24 on our.
Oh God, it still sounds horrible.
37.5% hit rate. So the fade Kings last week did not do well for you, but overall they're still ahead.
Yep.
And then
shout out fade Kings.
For me, it was a rough week, and here's why.
We've all had them.
One, that Browns Texans game, I took the opposite. I took the Browns at -2.5. I'll be getting wet momentarily. I did hit Newcastle versus Man City over on total goals at 2.5 goals.
Beautiful.
Easily hit that. And then listen to this, boys and girls. The Lions at Rams game, I took the Lions -3 and they won by 1. So
money line, baby.
Yeah.
I lost it. So that puts me at 11 for 24 overall on the year, 45.8% success rate. So really, you need to be fading me also for maximum success.
Or just don't really touch your bets because you can't. There's really no clear side to go on at this point. You're almost. I mean, that's close to. What are you at? What's your percentage?
11 for 24.
Yeah.
So you're 1 hit bet away from being at 50%.
But that's not a good thing.
No, I'm a toss.
No, that makes it hard to go with. Yeah,
you got to be on one side of the line. Yeah, so
a bit of life is like a little bit of life is like a box of chocolates. If you will.
Never know what you're gonna get.
I'll tell you what, I am so happy to not be getting wet. There's nothing worse than logging off of this podcast at the end of the night, soaking wet, and having to go change clothes and dry off.
Well, on that note,
give it to us.
It's time.
Do it, Dave.
Time for a little shower, and he's going with the hoodie on. With the hoodie on.
Oh yeah, and his hair was looking good too.
It was looking good.
Fresh, good hair day. Ruin that real quick.
Oh wow!
This is a lot of water.
It's so bad, dude. I'm telling you, it's actually a lot worse than you think it is.
I'm like anxious about
it. Do it.
It's not great. I can't even do it.
It's making me nervous.
It really sucks.
Oh! It's cold!
funny because like somehow, no matter what, if it's just
somehow
regular
the hair
water,
didn't budge.
Somehow it's always still cold though. That water's always still cold.
Dude, that is so cold. And it's been like sitting at room temperature for a while.
Somehow the hair still looks great though.
Yeah, you still look good.
The hair doesn't. Yeah,
the hoodie might have actually been a better call because typically I just go t-shirt, but the hoodie kind of soaks it up a little bit more. Whereas
it's not going straight to skin.
Yeah, it's not going down to the southern region where you're just sitting in the swamp,
the nether
basically.
regions, if you will.
Yeah,
it's kind of chilly. Gosh, dang it. All right, somebody else go first with their bets while I sit over here and think about my life.
I'll go first, and I'm actually just gonna do a little NFL playoff special here. So I'm just gonna give all 4 picks on all 4 of the games and just see what happens.
Oh, you're going all 4?
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw a bonus boy out there.
Okay.
So we start off the docket with Texans at Ravens. That's Saturday at 3:30 p.m. I've been loving these 2 games on a Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
It's just perfect because you can get so much more done at the beginning of the day and then still be able to transition into football mode. Typically what they say is if the line's at 10 in the NFL, you take the underdog pretty much all the time just because 10's so many to cover. Texans are at 9.5 here. I've just been so impressed with CJ Stroud. I've been impressed by the Texans, so I think 9.5 points is a lot here. I know the Ravens are really good, but I still think the Texans will keep it somewhat close. I could see them losing by a touchdown, but I don't see them losing by more than that. So I'm going to go Texans plus 9.5 for this first game on the docket.
I
love that. And I'll go ahead and go next because I had the same exact bet with the same exact reasoning. So we're riding together this week.
All right, love that. That's an earthquake mega whale play then.
Yep, you got to ride it because
love it.
After going against each other last week, I won't make the same mistake again. I'm riding with you. I think you're correct that there's a good chance that they lose the game, but I think it'll be by a touchdown. I also am impressed by CJ Stroud. I also think the Ravens are good. But I think 9.5 is a big line, so I'm riding with plus 9.5.
You also see it in so many sports, and I feel like honestly a lot of the time with like sports like hockey and football even more is like when you kind of have that bye, it doesn't always help you because like in hockey and football for sure, like you are not simulating a game in practice. You are not hitting each other like you're getting hit in a game. In those sports, Texans coming off of a high of a huge victory against the Browns, they're riding the momentum where the Ravens have just kind of been sitting there. So I agree with you. Ultimately, I do think the Ravens are going to come out ahead in that game, but I think the Texans will keep it close.
Yeah. Yep. No, that's such a good point. And that's why I get so I'm so blown away by how the college football playoffs are set up because that's such a long break. I mean, isn't it like 3 weeks of a break before they play in the playoff games?
But everyone's experiencing the same thing is the big difference there.
Yeah, it's still, I just mean in general for the play that's going out there, 3 weeks off is a long time.
And then they put such a good product out on the field.
Yeah, to not have game-like conditions, I guess, to practice in at least. But again, I think that kind of goes into my next pick a little bit too because at Packers at 9.5 against the 49ers, I think I'm going to go Packers here as well and take all those points and just hope that there's a little bit of rust on the train. Like I still think the 49ers will win, but I think the Packers can battle and try and stay in this game. I feel more confident about the Texans than I do about the Packers, but I do think that the Packers could somehow squeak. Like I see this as like kind of a fluky game where the 49ers have a lot of opportunities to score, but somehow they just kind of have
for field goals
penalties and somehow have to settle for field goals or something like that. And so maybe I like the under in this game too. It's at 50.5. So
that's high.
I don't hate the under in that, but because I like the under, that's why I like the Packers too. So I'm going to go Packers plus 9.5 here.
I like that. I like that bet. Okay. My next one here is going to be a Sunday game. I'm not doing that game. I'm not touching that game. And the reason I'm not touching it is because I could see the Packers pulling off that upset, but I don't feel confident enough in it. And I think the 49ers are a really good team. And so I'm kind of at a toss-up in my own brain on that. So I'm not touching that game. But going Sunday with the first Sunday game of Chiefs at Bills, I am going to go
That's the second Sunday game.
Is it the second Sunday game?
That's the 5:30 game on Sunday.
Okay,
Bucks
so
Bucks Lions is
at
first on
Lions.
Sunday.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll go Bucks Lions then because that's my other pick.
No, you okay? Yeah.
Yep, Bucks at Lions, and I'm going to go Lions minus 6.5 in that game. I like what Baker Mayfield's done this year, but I think that Lions team is hot. I think they're riding a lot of momentum into that game, and they're playing at home. So I like the Lions minus 6.5 against the Bucks.
I'm with Dave on that as well. Another good sign. And really, my big thing is just because I felt like there's something off with Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield right now. I don't know what it is.
They didn't have the chemistry in that
They
game.
didn't have it last game, and sometimes, and so that's how the Bucks are though. Sometimes Mike Evans will just have an off game, and he'll come back out, and he'll go for like 170 and 3 touchdowns or something like that. Crazy, but I just haven't really. Maybe it's recency bias, but I feel like I haven't seen that true connection between Mayfield or Baker and Mike Evans this year that much. Lions are riding hot. I think this is their year to make it a little bit deeper into the playoffs, so that's why I'm going to go Lions minus 6.5 here as well. I feel pretty good about it.
I love that.
And then this last bet here sounds like this is going to be the one that we all have action on. So because I already gave you my absolute lock of the week last week, that turns out it was on a week delay. What I'm going to call this one is my will it into existence pick.
Okay.
And I'm just taking Bills money line. I need the Bills to win. I need it.
I love it.
You're a Chiefs hater, right? So
I am. If you listen to the parent pod, you heard me kind of talk down on Kansas City last week. I said it in our group message. I would just love to see someone new win. Yep. None of these teams have really won in a while, with the exception of the Chiefs. I would love to just see someone new win. So I'm going Bills over Chiefs because I'm willing it into existence.
There you go.
I respect that. I do have to say that every year it seems like the Chiefs have Josh Allen's number in this specific matchup.
Yeah,
and so
I'm aware.
For that reason, I'm going Bills minus 2.5. I'm with Adam. I think the script changes at home with Buffalo. You have those fans digging them out of the snow to play. I just think there's a little bit of magic going on in Buffalo, where I think typically this is where the magic starts to kind of decline a little bit for Buffalo typically in the season. I think their magic might be kind of going on the upward trend right at the perfect time, where I think Bills take the win here at home. So I'm going Bills minus 2.5.
All right. And then, so this last game, then, this is my action on it. So I think the Chiefs are going to win the game. I'm just going to throw that out there. That's not my bet because the Bills are at home. I see what Chris is saying. I'm glad that I didn't pick the Chiefs to win after just getting wet because I didn't want to do it. But what I do think is going to happen, that line is 45.5 points. And I think that these offenses are going to come out hot, and they're going to go over that 45.5. So my bet.
What's the weather looking like in Buffalo? I say that, and 45.5 would have hit the over in the Buffalo Steelers game, so that might not be a big thing. But
I haven't looked at it, and here's why I don't think it necessarily matters, is because both teams
can play in the cold, though.
Both teams can play in the cold. Bills have a good run offense with Josh Allen is very strong runner himself. I think Pacheco likes to carry the load a little bit more in the playoffs than he does in the regular season. So even if it's bad weather, I wouldn't put this completely out of being a high-scoring game. Like you said, the over hit last week and the weather was atrocious.
Yep.
So I'm not too worried about the weather in that aspect. And because I think the Chiefs are going to win, I think that in order for them to win, there's going to have to be a lot of points scored.
Okay.
So I'm going 45.5 over is my bet.
So you're just taking the over?
Just taking the over. Because I'm not overly confident in that Chiefs win.
Even though both, like you said, both teams are fine playing in the cold, they experience that quite often. I think something about the cold weather honestly makes Josh Allen better. In that cold, he's not I feel like he's a little more within himself when he's playing. He's not taking the risky shots that he takes before because the game is just at a much more conservative level. Usually there's not as many deep plays. It's a lot of, like you said, maybe the running team's carrying it. So he's not turning the ball over as much. He's being smarter with the football. And I feel like the Bills are winning games when Josh Allen isn't turning over the football. I also think just crazy. I think it was like the very first episode that we literally ever did of this podcast. It was when the Bills, I think, lost week 1 of the NFL season, and the Chiefs lost week 1 of the NFL season. And we were like overreacting on like, what team are you more nervous about? And both of these teams are now squaring up in the playoffs
Classic.
to get to the AFC Championship. So we didn't have to worry about either of them. Here we are.
Yep.
They're both there.
2 very solid teams.
Is there something going on with Latavius Murray and on the Bills? Because he had a touchdown in like 4 of their last 5 games, and then I didn't see him touch the ball at all in that last game.
I don't know. NFL is weird where like he literally could have like fumbled 2 games in a row, and they're like, he's never touching the football again.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
That
forever.
happens.
They lose complete confidence.
James Cook has been huge for them this year
Yep.
because Josh
He
Allen
fumbled
usually
a
has
lot
to
too, though.
I know, but in terms of like yardage and like being a playmaker from the running back position, because I feel like they rely on Josh Allen so much in the run game in years past that his body just takes an absolute beating because he also doesn't know how to slide because he treats himself like a running back. And having someone that you can count on to get some yards takes a lot off of him. But
That's true.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
I think they're all going to be great games. I think even those ones with big lines, I think they're going to end up being closer games than people think. It's going to be another exciting week of NFL football.
I really hope so. I agree. I think we have the stages set for some really good games. So I'm probably most excited for the Texans-Ravens game. So hopefully that's a good game. I really hope that that's close. If it's close, that's obviously what we need to see anyways. But all right, so quick recap because we're coming up on time. I'm going to just run through mine real quick. I did all 4 games. I took Texans plus 9.5 at the Ravens. I took Packers plus 9.5 at the 49ers. Just lots of juice on those underdogs right there. So I took them. Then we got Bucks at Lions. I'm taking Lions minus 6.5. And Chiefs at Bills. I'm taking Bills minus 2.5. So I'm taking 2 dogs, 2 favorites.
There you go.
Hopefully we get them right.
For my 3 picks this week, I'm riding with Chris on Texans plus 9.5 against the Ravens. I'm going Lions minus 6.5 against the Bucks. And I am taking the over points of 45.5 in that Chiefs and Bills game.
Love it.
And then I got the carryover pick from last week. We got a Liverpool W, a Darwin Nunez goal, and an Alexis McAllister assist. Then we're going Bills money line over the Chiefs.
There you go.
Well, boys, that's we're starting to come to a close in the NFL season. I will say I've been starting to gear up a little bit on some college basketball. I've been tossing it on here and there in the afternoons, and I'm getting a little into it. So, man, excited for these games, excited for the end of the season here. We're set up for some magic. Let's make it happen, boys. That's Anything is Possible. Thanks for tuning in.
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.